From Frankenstein by Mary Shelley. There is something at work in my soul which I do not understand.
Welcome back to the Reading Room Ruffians, your favorite library podcast. Today, we're discussing Ariel's Deep Dive, The Only Good Indians by Stephen Graham Jones. This is Mallory, the Scream Queen, joined by my favorite horror from the holler and my BFF, Ariel.
Remember, pigs eat everything but the teeth.
And our supreme overlord, Carla.
Please send help. I'm trapped with these two, and they're scaring me. Please send help.
We are recording from our library in Jackson County, West Virginia. Zach, the nerd who miraculously survives the horror film, is joining us from Seattle, Washington.
The key is you don't split up.
Fair. Before we get to it, you can find our Facebook group by searching Reading Room Ruffians Podcast, which is linked to our library's Facebook page at facebook.com/Jackson County Library WV. You should give us a follow on TikTok and Instagram at WVJCO Library and give our podcast Goodreads page a look, which we have linked in our episode descriptions along with our personal Goodreads pages. So, on to The Only Good Indians. Ariel, I'm going to lead you off.
Okay, I'm going to just preface this whole thing by saying, one, I did not finish the book. I am very, very close. I only have about an hour left in it. I just had schoolwork and stuff like that, and I didn't get it done. But that being said, this is not a scary book.
Yeah, no, it really wasn't scary.
A little disappointed. Not gonna lie, because I want something to scare me when I read a horror book, and 9 times out of 10 they don't. It was a good book. It was interesting, and there was like definitely the gore factor, but gore does not freak me out. So I'm just like, squishy.
Yeah, that's not really my brand of nope, which is why I was able to do it. Yeah, I will say though, like for me, the scariest part was at the very end, and she's just being chased. So that's just it for me.
Anxiety.
Yeah, that was it. That was the
anxiety.
scariest. I was just like, oh God, this is just like
we
the
can,
movies.
We can definitely talk about the ending. I'm still going to finish the book, so it's not going to be a big deal if you give me spoilers or whatever, because I'll still finish it today. I just didn't have time this morning.
So does none of this ever just kind of hang with you for a while? I
Not
mean,
normally.
this is a kind of subjects that like I think about, 2 months later if I'm, I don't know, by myself at night or walking up to the house or something like that.
I think this one probably would just for a little bit, mainly just because it's like a spiritual, I don't know, like manifestation kind of thing. So I don't know. I don't think I fully believe anything like that could happen, but also can't it? I don't know.
I'm the type that believes everything. I mean, it's like
I don't
Star
know.
Wars is real
It
for
just,
me. So
in my head of weirdness, like scary books don't normally stick with me. Like I'll read them and I'll have a couple days to like decompress from it, and then I'm like, yeah, okay, I'm good, whatever, because I see this as a learning experience. I have learned what not to do.
See, I feel like I already know all of this. Whenever I do watch scary movies or read books or anything like that, I'm just like, what are you
You're
doing?
being stupid. Stop it.
And I'd like to thank anxiety for that.
Okay. So Carla did not read the book because
they hang
failed.
with me.
She's just failed. Anyways,
It really wasn't that scary. I gave it 4 stars. Just
it's
because
not a bad book.
No.
It's just not what I would look for when I want to pick up a scary book.
Yeah, the only reason I took a star off was because of the things that happened to the animals in this book, and that's it. And that's like a really petty reason.
Wait, what things
but
happened to
also
the animals in this book?
the
When
animals.
they get stomped
There was
to
one.
death.
There was that one dog that got stomped to death a little
There
bit.
were like 4 dogs.
Yeah, there was 4
and
dogs.
also the elks. I mean, I'm sorry, that just kind of was
the stuff
really
that happened
sad.
with the elk is bad. Do we want to
Okay.
do a brief summary of the book? Just like the
I
premise.
think it would be good.
Yeah. Can you do that? Because I don't have it in front of me.
Sure. 4 American Indian men from the Blackfeet Nation, who were childhood friends, find themselves in a desperate struggle for their lives against an entity that wants to exact revenge upon them for what they did during an elk hunt 10 years earlier. Not just them either, but their families and friends. But the basic thing is you've got these 4 American Indian men. they went out on a... I'm going to spoil a little bit of the book for you guys, so if you guys don't want to know
It's
spoilers...
a deep dive. We're going to probably spoil a lot of the book for them.
Well, I'm just saying for right now. Like, there's a little bit of this in the summary. They go out onto... lands on their reservation that they're not supposed to be in, and they run into a bunch of elk. They shoot them all. They get in trouble with the local authorities, can't bring them back. And one of the elk had a baby with it, or was it pregnant? Do you remember?
It was pregnant.
She was pregnant.
And she was pregnant. And that one, the one that was pregnant, comes back as the elk head woman and goes through and systematically kills everybody. And it's real creepy.
I kind of loved that. I didn't think it was that creepy.
There's some
it's
visualization
creepy.
stuff that's in there that's pretty creepy. Yeah, like the visuals were creepy.
She's almost like a were elk is how it is. It's kind of, it's creepy in that sense. Like if I really saw one of those.
I would probably think somebody was wearing a helmet, like a mask or a...
See, that's kind of, I don't know.
I follow people
They
on
describe
like
it as
TikTok
just like
and
really
Instagram,
wrong.
And they wear skulls, like deer skulls and such, to do their filming, to hide their face. And I love it. I'm like, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think if you saw one in real life and it was like that in the book, you would be afraid because it comes with that creepy feel too.
Mhm.
It's not.
I mean, yeah,
you're like,
it
this
would
is
have to be
not normal.
the vibes. Like if I just saw somebody and there was like no weird vibes, I'd be like, that's a cool mask. That's awfully real. But I'm also... Did you carve it out? Is it real?
Yeah, I don't know. For me it was creepy just in the sense like if I actually saw this in real life, would I? No, because I wouldn't do that to an animal. But on the off chance that I was with somebody who would, which first of all, please just smack me in the face. Thanks, Ariel. But yeah, it just for me, it's creepy in that I don't know. She just like immediately knows how to set up these situations in which
okay,
she brings out the worst in them.
I am going to say I was a little upset that Lewis died because I don't know, I was really hoping this story was like he was being haunted by this elk and all this crazy stuff happens and then he, accidentally murders people. Whoopsie. And then he's trying to make his way back to the reservation. And then I was hoping he would get there and then like all the weird, creepy stuff would happen with all three of them together and slowly they get picked off one by one. That's what I was wanting. And then for him to just get shot by police, I was like, well, that's dumb.
Off screen too. It didn't actually happen
Yeah,
in the book.
you didn't even get to see it. Like it was just like, yeah, this guy's dead now. Thanks.
Yeah, and for me, I really didn't know if he was making all of this stuff up in his head, like imagining that there was an elk baby. I was like, there's no way.
Well, see, at first I was like, okay, he's being haunted.
Yeah.
Whatevs. But then he started, like, you could see that he was starting to go a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
Because he was like, maybe it's my wife. Maybe my wife is the elk woman. And then he's like, maybe it's Shani, his coworker. Maybe she's the elk woman. And I was more convinced it would have been Shani than his wife.
Me too. Because of the books.
Well, the books and the scars.
Yeah,
and
that's fair too.
All that. So I genuinely thought it was going to be her. Love how she got murdered. That was intense. I was like, ha, it's finally getting good. Like I came in and
that one, yeah.
I did. I came in. I was like, I asked Carla, I was like, have you read the book yet? And she's like, no, I'm probably not going to read it. I was like, well, let me tell you about it. And I was like, and I just got to this part.
Yeah.
And I was like, and this is how she died.
Yeah, it was really graphic. It was kind of like coolly described for me. Like, I don't know. There's like a really icky way to describe gore like that.
Yeah.
And then this one was just like almost like ripping a Band-Aid off.
It was matter of fact. This is what happened.
And I like that because I know it's disgusting. Like, we don't need to really talk about it.
I thought it was fun.
Yeah.
I was like, okay, this is good.
How did she die again? I can't remember.
Her hair got caught in the motorcycle.
Oh, that's right. Yep.
Yeah.
It ripped her head back and broke her neck and then scalped her.
Scalped her, which is like...
Also, the scalping thing, just in general, what a way to go for, like, book about Native Americans.
Indians?
Just saying.
Yeah.
To have him
Kind of rough.
scout.
That was definitely
it's very-
intentional. I mean, the guy he's also Native American.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the fact that he looks at her, he goes, I know who you are. And she's like, you know who I am. And then bam, dead.
Yeah. But see, the thing is, I think the Elkhead woman actually was Shani at one point to get those books.
I think she just went to whoever.
Because she ended up taking the form of Shani at the end. And it's just kind of like, eh?
I think she just became whoever. Like I think it was Shani at first, and then I think when Shani got killed, it became his wife Peta, and then Peta dies. So maybe she was, I mean, because they did, mess around beforehand. So maybe she really was pregnant. And so
Do we
the
think
elk
it was
woman just
possession
took
at
over
first?
I don't know. That's
And then
why I
the
can't.
physical manifestation when she was birthed.
pregnant.
God,
Yeah.
that was
I
so
think
weird.
so. I've that's how I saw it. Was like at first she was just like possessing people or
Body
whatever.
hopping.
Yeah. And then she actually became a form when she was aliened her way out of his wife's belly.
Yeah, I thought it was weird that she was like a calf at first,
I
and
thought
then
that
became
was so fake.
a
Like,
person.
yeah, I was like, he's really.
I thought he was
lost it.
hallucinating.
He's-
This entire
he's
time I
done
thought
it,
he was
yeah.
hallucinating. Even at the
Me
very
too.
end.
Yeah, I really thought any second now he's gonna come to, and I thought he really murdered them, but the elk baby, and so then whenever they said that they found him carrying one, I was like, that really happened?
Yeah, yeah, and the fact that he pulled their teeth,
Oh,
To check to see if they were
and
elk
then he
teeth, right?
sits back. He's like, "This is a thing I've done. This is a thing I've done now."
yeah.
And I'm like, the dude's lost it.
He is
has
dissociating so
crazy.
hard. Yeah.
This happened. Whoopsie.
Oh my God. Do you guys see the chat right now?
No, what did he said?
A deer in the shower. Trying to kill a person.
That's about what it's like.
That's great.
Yeah.
We'll have to share that.
It's one of my favorite images from the internet. It is a picture of
just
a guy
realized.
wearing a deer head attacking some other dude in a shower with a hammer. Anyway,
That's about what this book is like.
Yeah. It really
pretty
is.
much.
It really is. About from the murders by Lewis to the end of the book, it kind of just is like, there are some slow parts, but I think where you're at on is
I
just
just-
like,
Well, see, I after Lewis and they go back to the reservation and they're talking about, how they're going to have a sweat in honor of him and the other dude that died. I can't remember his name because he was dead at the beginning of the book.
Ricky?
Ricky, yeah, I think so. I don't know. It's kind of boring, and I'm like, you could up this creep factor so much.
it's about to happen.
So much, and I'm like, what a letdown.
It's very slow in the middle. It really is very slow in the middle.
There are definitely slow spots, and I feel like really, the murders there was just like bam, and then it kind of slowed down a little bit again, and I just felt it building. So yeah, it's about to happen.
I don't know. I told Mallory this morning. I was like, I haven't finished it. I was like, but I know they're both going to die. That's
Mhm.
it's obvious that that's going to happen. She already murdered all the dogs. She murdered Sheriff dude.
Mhm.
It's like whatever. I don't know. I'm just disappointed. I wanted this book to be so much creepier, so much scarier than what it is. And I feel like I'm like that. I'm disappointed with a lot of horror books because I'm like, yeah, it's okay. It's all right. It's like the book Brother, where they're like freaking kidnapping people and eating them. And I'm like, it wasn't really scary.
You are too
It is-
jaded.
No, it is
Really?
difficult to find actual scary books, I think.
I mean, can't relate.
That's why we should have been able to read The Last Days. Well, I'll have to read. I have that now. I got it from another library. So I'm going to read it. And then for one of our general book chats, probably not this next one coming up because it's 500 pages.
Oh my.
So I won't get it done before then. But I'll tell you all about how a book should be scary.
Woof. No thanks, I'm fine.
I'm going to see if I can find a copy of that book too so I can read it at the same time we can discuss it for our spookies
That sounds-
somewhere.
That sounds good.
I haven't read any horror in a while.
I love horror.
Yeah.
I have read the first couple pages of our nonfiction. I got to finish that up and probably have a panic attack.
I'll read that one again.
I
was
do like
gonna
a good
how
horror
are you
book.
doing with that?
I haven't. I keep looking at it.
It's like daunting.
It's sitting on Anton's bed, which is right beside my bed, and I'm like, I need to read that. And then I'm like, but do I want to?
Yeah.
I was telling Carla that I decided to read it because I didn't want to listen to it because I felt like listening to it is like calling them.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big scary fan. So things like this I don't mind cuz it's creepy, but it's not too creepy. And could something like this in theory happen with, like
with
whatever
Native Americans
manifestations?
Absolutely.
I don't even think just Native Americans.
No,
but yeah, for this for sure.
yeah.
My original thought was really, oh my God, is this elk and her baby going to become like native gods somehow? And this is why like she's able to do this. Like she's just exacting her revenge. Like this is my villain origin story. But
I thought
guess
it was
what?
cool
No,
that
yeah.
she could remember all the things that had been done wrong to like elk in general,
Yeah.
Like I was like, oh, there's some
And
built
I
up
thought
rage.
it was really interesting, the whole call to elk and trains and how they're train shy. I didn't actually know that.
I didn't either.
And yeah, it definitely comes into play a couple of times in like the last long scene, which is kind of fun.
Yeah, they were saying that the rails just turn up into walls all of
Yeah.
a sudden.
Yeah.
It's the trains going by, but as an elk, that's how they understand it is, oh my God, it's a wall.
Yeah.
Well, there could be some truth with the elk being afraid of trains because when the trains first went across the country, there was a lot of people that went and hunted the bison because
Yeah.
they were trying
Oh,
to
yeah.
starve the natives, and they shot them from the train.
That's what they mentioned that in the book as well. Yeah. So it's pretty cool in that sense. Like you get a lot of background about reservation life and even off, like being a native person living out in what should be your land but is not.
Yeah.
And so that is it's a different perspective, obviously, but it's good to read. And I'm glad that I read this book.
Yeah.
I think we're forgetting about the most important part about this book.
What?
Resball.
Oh my God. Yeah, that was a big thing, and I didn't
There was
realize
a
that was such a
huge
big thing.
portion
Yeah.
of this book.
Yeah.
Huge portion. It was so strange.
But it's a thing.
I know it's a thing, but it's like, well, so first of all, I mentioned this back when I mentioned this is like in
Mhm.
one of the general book chats. I had no idea. But also, it's a huge portion of this book. Like the daughter, that's like her
Yeah.
thing. The daughter,
Oh, yeah.
I can't remember whose daughter it was, but anyway, the only survivor aside from the other kid in this whole book.
Gabe.
Yeah, Gabe.
Gabe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
She was really into just basketball in general.
Not really into it either. She's like, wow, amazing.
She was the one with the stepsister that was off at college, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
Even in the book, The Absolutely True Story of a Part-Time Indian, basketball played a major part.
Yeah.
I did tell Carla yesterday, I was like, I'm glad that I always talk to my caribou head in my house and pet its little nose. I was like, I didn't kill that one, but I'm always nice to it because I have a giant caribou head in my house. And
Came with the house.
I love him so much. He's my favorite thing in that house that came with it.
What's his name, though?
I named him Nigel.
I love that. Thank you. I am so glad I asked.
Eventually I want to decorate him for Christmas and stuff too, like put little like
A hat on him and
That
stuff.
is fantastic.
We'll put like Christmas lights on his antlers.
You need to put like a little red nose on him.
Give him ornament earrings.
This
Yes.
poor caribou's death.
I just,
I mean,
It's
it
lovely.
is, but
Yeah.
He's perfect.
he's
I
part
love
of the
him.
family, though.
Like literally, like when we were buying the house and they were like, "Yeah, we're leaving this in here." I was like, "And the head?" And then they're like, "Yeah." I was like, "Yes."
So actually,
I
fun.
don't think that I've ever seen an elk in real life.
Mm-mm.
I was going to say, I did the other day. Chantel and I were going to Olympic and we were going out there very late at night. And on the way out to one of the beaches, on an Indian reservation. We
Oh,
saw
snap.
2 elk on the side of the road getting ready to cross, but they didn't. Scared the bejesus out of me, and I was like, oh my God, it's the elk head woman. She's coming to get me.
Because you've killed so many elk in your life.
I might have just there with the car, you know. And it
I
coulda
mean, yeah,
happened.
maybe with a car. But from what I've read, there's a potential that you could also be killed by said elk.
I feel like if
them
you
with
hit
your
an
car.
elk, you might get your instant karma there. So
Yeah.
you might not need to be hunted down.
It's like if you hit a moose, you're a goner.
No, if you hit a moose, you're dead, so.
For sure.
And if you don't kill it, it will make sure you're dead.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Well, they don't die a lot of the time from getting that. They either
Yeah.
walk away or
That's because they're massive.
They are literal walls.
And they will
Yeah.
fight cars.
Yep.
and they're too tall for you to be able to see their eye shine a lot of the time, which is terrifying.
Yeah, I was driving. Well, I wasn't driving. I was riding in a car, like a little, I don't know, tiny Pontiac or something like that.
Oh,
I don't
no.
remember what it was. But we were driving along the road at like 2 o'clock in the morning. It was really dark. And all of a sudden, we almost hit a mule that was standing in the middle of the road eating trash.
Oh my.
Because you don't expect to see a mule in the middle of the road.
No.
And it was so tall and our car was so like low to the ground that we didn't see it until we were like right up on its legs, essentially.
Oh Lord.
And I was like, oh my God. And then we backed up some. And I was like, that's a mule.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, it was crazy. Crazy times. I don't know. Anyway, so this book, is there anything specific we really want to talk about? Because I was let down by this book. I was disappointed by it.
I think
So,
I've
I'm
covered
just
pretty
like-
much everything that interested me about this book.
Yeah.
I thought it was buck wild. I liked the vibes it gave me, honestly.
It definitely was.
Especially the first third of that book where it's just about the one guy.
See,
Like,
if the
freaking
whole
out.
book was like that, I would have liked it so much better. But
Oh,
I
yeah,
just,
no, it definitely should have been like that. I think that was the strongest part of the book.
Yeah.
When he's
Yeah.
like
His
slowly going
spiral.
insane and you're not entirely sure whether it's real or not.
Yeah.
This could have been
Yeah.
an excellent short story if it ended right there.
and you actually got to see him die.
And you actually
Yeah.
got to see him die, sure.
Yeah, because I didn't want, that's not an ending. That's a cop out.
Yeah.
Yeah, instead of this, the actual
Like to
ending.
see him like carrying the elk, trying to get back to the reservation, and the cops find him, and he's like trying to protect this elk, and is like willing to lay down his life for this elk calf that's not moving, because he specifies that it didn't move except for the one little kick out of his wife's belly.
Yeah.
Which also made me was like, the dude's insane.
Yeah.
He's wrapped up that elk hide and is carrying it, and he thinks it's a baby.
See, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I really.
Yeah. But like to just hear like, oh, this person died. Okay, cool, I guess.
yeah.
I feel like they didn't ask enough questions either. Like if you found somebody, you shot him after he murdered 2 people, and you find him carrying a baby elk.
Didn't he kill more than just 2 though? Wasn't there like there was a group of 4 or something and only 1 survivor?
Yeah, but
I have
that
a
wasn't him,
question.
I don't think. I think that was the elk, wasn't it?
I thought it was him.
I have a question. How many people died in this book?
Oh,
I
you
don't
know,
think I
like,
actually kept track.
Was it
so there's
10?
the 2, then there's the
It
4
might
of
have been
them.
10.
There's like 7 or 10 or something like that. I don't know.
Why?
Because there were 10 elk killed.
Oh. Oh. Okay, so there was Lewis, Shaney, PETA, and then Cassidy, Gabe, and then there was 3 randos.
Where did they die?
It was right after Lewis got shot down by police, or right before,
I don't remember that at
because
all.
they're talking about the news report. Do you remember that, Zach?
I do remember that. I don't remember them specifically dying, though.
Yeah, because there was only 1 survivor, is what they were saying. There was only 1 survivor left, and there was like a group of 4 of them.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that was the elk doing that. I don't think it was him.
Okay, well, it was like right around that same time that he got, shot.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
do
So
not
that's like-
remember that.
That's 3 more, so that's 9.
Yeah. And then
Oh, wait, wasn't there like... Oh, was she just impersonating that one chick, or did they actually kill her? Oh, no, the one who had the truck fall on her.
oh yeah, Joe. Oh
Yeah.
yeah.
So that's 10.
Yeah, that is.
Cool.
That
I
was
forgot.
an unfortunate thing that happened.
A truck fell on somebody?
Why was she under that truck?
Oh, it was, okay. That's
I thought
not
she
what
was
I was seeing
hiding.
in my head.
Wasn't she hiding and then
What was
it
she
got
hiding
bumped?
from?
I don't remember. Oh, no.
See, that's what-
She wasn't hiding. She was just in the truck chilling, wasn't she? And it's like it had an opening or in the... I don't remember. It was like wonky. She was underneath the truck,
that
though.
one was really
maybe getting a
confusing
ball,
for me.
and then the truck falls on her, and it's because that one dude gets mad and bumps into it, isn't it?
Yeah.
I will definitely finish this on lunch, and I will let y'all know what happened with said truck.
Yeah, because I was driving, so I couldn't back it up. I just was like, this doesn't make any sense. Why is she under there?
There was a couple times where this book where I was like, what?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a little unclear what was going on a couple times.
I think you guys are missing some of the more spiritual aspects of it.
Well, I think maybe, but like, I just don't know how she was supposed to be leaving to go to her cousin Shani's funeral.
Oh, yeah. I remember
Which,
her.
like, she came home and she talked to the boys in the
Yeah.
sweat. And then she went into the cabin, or no, their camper, to like pack up and go. Like, she was just going
That's
to
where
leave.
I'm at right now.
Yeah. And then, you know, like stuff happens, whatever, whatnot. And the two friends are fighting. And then one of the, Gabe, like runs into the truck that's on, what was it, like cinder blocks or something?
I
Yeah, it was
think
on
so,
blocks.
And knocks it off. And as it's happening, essentially, it's said like somehow Cassidy knows she's under there because he runs over to look and sees her in there. And she's like curled up like she's hiding. But I'm like, what is she hiding from? Did she see the elk woman and decide to hide? But the elk woman didn't see her? I don't know. That's what I'm a little bit confused on. I don't know how I missed it.
Well, I'm right at that area, so I'll listen, and then we can discuss.
See, I didn't read it because stuff like that stays with me.
Mhm.
It's the whole like otherworldliness,
Mm-hmm.
which it's like, you know, I'll pick up the little things like how many people died, how many people have to die to make this even. Did the calf live?
No.
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 Like
that
originally, no.
Yeah, that was the 10th. Because they shot 9, and then the baby
And then she was
number
pregnant.
10.
Yeah.
So the one he was carrying did not live.
Oh,
The one he was carrying ended
that
up
was
being,
the mom coming back and haunting
Elk
and
head
killing,
lady.
killing people.
Yeah.
that was elk head lady being born into like an actual,
Physical body.
yeah. And she grows really rapidly too.
Yeah, she's like, I'm 14 now. An hour ago, I was 12.
Yeah. And then she's, I don't know how old Gabe's daughter is, but then she's that age.
She's like right around that same
Yeah.
age, though, I think.
And then by the end of the movie, by the end of the book, she is, I guess I'm going to say that she's Shani's age because
Yeah,
she just takes
probably.
her form essentially.
So she lived. The baby elk lived
Mm-hmm.
that he was carrying.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because that's the mom. That's not
Yeah.
the babe. It's not an actual baby. It was born.
No, but
And-
yeah, I get that. But it's just like I didn't know if that one survived.
yeah.
Yeah. And actually, I really liked the ending of this one. I did.
I don't think you could actually kill that one because she gets pretty messed up and still is just trucking
Mhm.
the whole time because
Yeah.
she's not really alive,
She's
I
not
guess.
really an elk to begin with.
Yeah.
She's a spirit.
Yeah.
Yeah, a spirit given physical form.
Yeah.
When he shot her originally, like when they went down there and they were shooting all those elk, he was like, this one's different. This one's special. Which is why he was like, I promise nothing will go to waste.
Yeah.
And then some
Everything
did.
went to waste. Literally
See,
everything.
But he was the only one that didn't get rid of her, though. Like, he did carry her back because he wouldn't do it. Like, his friends got rid of everything that they did. Like, they just, shoved it down a hill or something?
Yeah, they just threw it back down.
I just can't even deal with that. But yeah, I was under the impression that he did take every bit of her back.
He did. And then he like divvied it out as raccoon meat.
Well, it had to have a raccoon paw print, but because he was out of stamps.
Yeah, but they were like, he was that one that was selling that raccoon meat.
Yeah, everybody thought it was raccoon meat.
That's probably the reason it got wasted. Who would
Yeah.
want to eat it as
Yeah.
a choice?
And that was one of those things he was like, well, I guess maybe somebody has some sitting in the back of their freezer thinking,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
that. I wasn't sure that actually had happened. He was just, spiraling. So
Yeah, he
No,
was just
I
going
think-
crazy and hypothesizing about what could possibly be
What
the
could have,
issue.
yeah.
Yeah.
I think honestly, she manifested just because of how she was pregnant. And that was one of the things once he figured out she was pregnant, that was like, well, that's why she was fighting so hard to stay alive.
Yeah.
She wanted to protect her baby.
Yeah.
And so that was just, I really think that that's why she came back. I don't think it was because any part of her was wasted. I just think it was like, I'm going to fix this.
The fact that she waited 10 years, though, is
Well, there you go.
Oh, you have to wait 10 years until she gets pregnant. I mean, I haven't heard that theory, but that makes a lot more sense to me than the wasting the meat thing.
Yeah.
But you've got 10 as your common denominator.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another 10. That's fun.
You should have just read this book, Mom. It would have been great.
Oh, that kind of creeps me out, and I don't feel good anyway right now. I've been sleeping a lot.
She's got that school hangover.
I think so, and I cough a lot.
I don't know. I don't have anything else really to say about this book.
No, I had something. Hold on a second. Let me think here. Oh, yeah, the title. Based on a quote from, who was it? From way back in the day, like 1800s. But it's like General Philip Sheridan, okay, from 1869, saying that the only good Indian is a dead Indian, and then they all die.
Yeah.
It's
See,
very
that's-
morbid.
I knew for a fact that's why we were doing this, because you had talked about what the book was about in that general book chat. And so I knew anyway. So that was kind of one of the things. I was like, that's a pretty cool, I don't know. What is that thing? What is that word?
I don't know. You're looking at the wrong
I know.
person.
I'm just looking.
What is it? What is the word supposed to be?
Yeah. But it's like a good continuity thing. I don't
Play
know.
on words.
Yeah. Something like that. One of those things.
I don't know.
I'm not with it.
Normally when we read a deep dive, I like them and I'm like into them and I'm like, yes, we need to talk about this. There's so many different aspects with this. But this one I was just let down with, I guess. I was wanting something better. And obviously this wasn't my first choice of book.
I think that definitely also had something to do with it too.
Maybe. I mean, I wanted to read this book. It's been on my TBR. Because Zach and Chantel said that it was creepy. And I was like, okay, cool. That's up my alley.
It is
And
creepy, and it's buck wild, and it's got some weird vibes in it. It is not scary, though. No.
No, it's not
I'm
scary.
not sure that I would say it's buck wild.
Oh,
I'm
no,
not
there's some
sure
buck
that I
wild
would
stuff that happens
say-
in the first chunk. That is
I didn't
wild
think
shit.
it was that creepy either.
There are spots where it's creepy.
Maybe I just have like an unrealistic expectation
I don't know,
of
Cannibal
what a
Lady.
horror book should be.
You are jaded
Oh, why do you say that?
because you've read so many. It takes even more and more and more to.
Oh,
To
yeah.
scare
It's like a
that's
spicy
valid.
tolerance.
So,
Like
yeah.
if you eat a lot of hot peppers, your
Yeah.
tolerance goes up.
I got my horror tolerance up,
Hmm.
which is crazy considering a few years ago I wouldn't even watch scary movies.
Maybe it's just the
What?
wrong sort of thing. Maybe if this was actually aliens, you'd be real creeped out.
What'd you say?
I said
I don't
maybe
know.
it's just because
Not
it was,
not you. She was saying something because I said that. What did I say?
I don't know. I can't remember.
I have no idea.
We're cutting this section out. This is nonsense.
that I didn't watch horror movies a few years ago.
I bet that this one has layers in it that we're not picking up
Oh,
on.
I'm absolutely positive it does.
because we don't understand the culture
Mhm.
it came from.
Probably.
I bet there's a lot more creepy stuff in there.
Absolutely.
That the little subtle things
Yeah.
that mean stuff. Even just me picking up on the 10, listening to you
Yeah.
guys. There's probably a whole deeper level
Yeah.
to some of the symbolism and stuff
Yeah.
that's creepier than
I mean,
because we're not from that culture.
Hmm.
that's very possible. I mean, there are some like Native American things that like I've watched and I'm like, oh yeah, that's terrifying. And if somebody wrote a book about them, I'm sure it would be scary if they did it well. Yeah, I mean, you have to write. You can't just be able to like,
Yeah.
you know,
I guess you need to read the book about that ranch out west.
which one?
The one where you won't say the first name of it.
Okay, listen. That show is so hinky.
No, not the show.
I know.
The actual.
But
I was like,
What's
the
the
show
book?
is the fakest thing in the world.
I know.
Yeah.
My parents are obsessed with it.
What show? What?
It's called That Ranch.
Skinwalker Ranch.
That's disgusting.
I know.
Oh,
right?
Mama said it.
I
If they come here, I'm throwing you under the bus.
You could do.
Us.
Oh no, wait,
I'm
you're not
gonna
supposed
watch
to say
everybody
it.
who comes in the door now.
Yeah.
You're not supposed to say it in the Dresden Files. Either the other name, the Nagloshi.
Yeah, don't be saying that again. Dude, that book, that one freaked me out because I listened to that one a lot, and a lot of times it was at night, and I had to stop. I was like, no.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
That's probably because you're picking up more on the cultural stuff that goes with that one, because it's more along our lines of.
Maybe. But nope. I've seen videos of people out west though. Like one of the best ones that I've seen is this Native American has a ranch and he's riding his horse down their little dirt road and he's filming his horse because weird things happen anyway. So he's filming his horse and he's talking about how like something weird had happened. And then his horse all of a sudden just stopped mid-road, snorts, and looks over in the direction of the field. And you hear a woman go, hello? And the horse is like, oh, hell no.
Nope.
Turns around and like gallops back into the ranch.
I mean, I don't blame it. Well, horses are skittish though, just about everything.
I mean, they are,
Because
but
they are self-preserving.
yup.
Have you guys seen Annihilation?
No.
And what is that one about?
Annihilation? You read
Yeah,
the book,
no.
Mama. What are you talking about?
I thought I had. I'm like, I should know this.
Okay, so anyway, in Annihilation, not the movie, not the book, because those things are completely different. They're not even on the same like page at all. Anyway, there is a bear thing that reminds me of that sort of stuff. It's a bear. It like looks all messed up, like it's got exposed bones and stuff like that, and it's like huge and like terrifying looking. And there's some weird stuff that happens in this area that they're in, where that like combines your DNA. Anyway, it killed somebody the day before, or a couple days before, and it was able to get the person's voice, so you heard it screaming help as its like bear roar thing. It was wild. That's what I felt like when you just described that like all the what is your like workaround term here? I can't remember.
Flesh pedestrian.
Yeah.
Yeah, the flesh pedestrian stuff.
Okay, so you know how I was like disappointed with this? You want to see the monster from The Ritual? Now, this is not how I imagined it when I read the book, but this is from the movie. You want to see what it looks like?
No.
I mean, I'm going to look anyway.
Yeah,
but...
look at it. The silhouettes of that thing were like actually legitimately
okay.
creepy.
And there's another one. Okay, see this? It has little hands on its face, right? So it, like
No, let me see that again.
It bends down and grabs people by their heads and picks it up, right? And like essentially kills them. And he doesn't even eat them in the movie. He just takes them and goes and hangs them on a tree.
I really like the silhouette of it. I thought that in that movie when they came up and actually showed the thing, it looked kind of janky.
But that's what it's supposed to be. And that's a Viking, like Norse god.
Yeah.
It's called Jotun. I don't know if I'm something like that. I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but yeah. See in the book, I didn't
in
see
this
it
thing
like
it says
that.
it's called Moder, Moder.
Well, yeah, but it says the ritual Norse demigod Moder. Aren't those like Loki's kids?
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's what Loki is. Like he lives
He's a
with those
frost
people.
giant.
Yeah,
yeah. But I thought that's what they called his kids too. Like that's how they referred to them.
Yeah,
as a collective.
So
Yeah.
there is a game called Valheim. Fantastic game. You play like a Viking person, and you're trying to like make camps and build stuff. Anyway, one of the bosses is Moder, Moder, like this dude.
Wow.
He doesn't look like this though.
That scared me. Like when I read that book, that was scary because you knew it was hunting you, but it was so quiet and it was so quick.
See,
This is the issue.
The end of this book for me, whenever Gabe's daughter,
Yeah.
like, she ends up coming on to to find her dad.
Yeah.
And Shani is there. Well, elk head woman.
Yeah.
And
Shani.
somewhere along the way, she figures out that she is not just playing her like just to 21. She's playing for her life.
Yeah.
And from there, it gets, I liked it because, I liked that. That for me was, like I said, that's like the
weird
anxiety
concept for me. Let's play basketball. And if
Well, I mean, it's like that's a very common
I know
concept is that
I
you play
know,
a
I
game
just-
for your life against death, right?
I don't know. I think
Yeah.
it's weird. I think that's a weird way to go
Resball's
about.
is like maybe a strange thing
Like,
for us to think of, but
If
I mean, it
I
makes sense
was
for them.
murdering people,
Yeah.
if I was
See, I don't think it's about murder.
If
It's
I-
about
Yeah.
revenge.
It really
it's about
is.
settling the score.
Well, yeah, but like if I was trying to settle the score, I'm not going to give somebody a chance to weasel out of it.
Well, the whole thing was Gabe asks her, like makes her promise essentially that she's not going to kill his daughter.
Yeah.
And she says that she won't if he kills himself. And so then she comes on to find him. And yeah, it was just this whole she was definitely going to go after her and kill her anyway. But
Yeah.
she ends up
yeah, I
coming
mean, she says
to
explicitly
her.
that she lies.
Yeah. So I don't know, it's just like one of those, for me, I don't think that it was initially going to be, we're going to play it and you die. Like, I think she was just going to, at some point, murder her, like, off her. But I don't think that she was expecting to be figured out.
Yeah.
And so that's why it
She didn't
happens
kill
the
her.
way it does. Yeah.
I don't know. It's like when you watch movies and you see the villain and they're like giving their monologue about, well, they're like, don't
Yeah.
just kill them.
Oh, no, but then it's
do
not
it.
narratively satisfying.
I think the point of this one was really to build up. Like for me, it just kept building and building. I was like, oh my God, any minute now she's going to kill her. Any minute now. Like I just.
Yeah.
Yeah, the last chunk of that book was actually pretty intense. Like, and it did build the tension a bit. And then there was the chase afterwards, and that was kind of scary. And I'm
Yeah.
not entirely convinced for why the Elkhead woman didn't just murk her, but I could see the reason, I guess, a little bit. I don't know.
Maybe she lied, but she was also good to her word. It's like this is.
I don't think she was planning to be. I
Was
really
she
don't.
not?
I really don't think that she was planning to be. But what ends up happening there at the very, very end, I think, is just like she was fine with it being the way it was.
Yeah, that's basically what it was, yeah.
So here's your takeaway, guys. Don't kill elk. Or if you do it in like a not like shooting fish in a barrel
Oh
situation.
God!
Yeah, for real, don't do that.
What
Ugh.
even is appealing about that?
I have no idea. Like, I get, like, if you were starving and you saw this and you shot a bunch and then you used it all,
Yeah.
that's one thing. Like, I don't know. But the way they killed those
Yeah.
elk was messed up.
And then they just dumped them.
Yeah, the fact that they left them.
The whole time I was just like, you know what? Y'all deserve it. I don't care. Like,
Yeah,
rude?
seriously.
I don't know, but
Like, I felt bad for Lewis because he was the only one who took an elk with him.
and he felt guilty.
And he felt so
He was the
guilty.
only one.
So I felt bad for him.
Yeah, the
but-
other ones I didn't feel too bad for because they were
No.
continuously just kind of being crappy anyway,
Yeah.
and didn't really
So, I
regret
don't
this
know.
at all. I don't know. It wasn't good. It wasn't.
They didn't
good.
think it was a big deal. That's the thing. They're like, well, sucks that we lost that, but whatever. So I don't know.
Personally, I feel that way about people in general. Like, oh, you're going to waste that. Well, you know what? You deserve whatever comes next.
Oof.
Yeah.
I mean, you're not wrong, but still. Oh, but what you were saying earlier, I'm just going to circle back to this real quick. In the ritual, right?
Yes.
It's a similar sort of like creepy vibes thing. They showed too much of the monster, right, in the movie, didn't they?
Oh yeah.
It was
yeah.
like, that's probably why the book was creepier. You don't get to see the monster.
Yeah. Like Amy, she was like, "Oh, I want to read this book because it actually scared you," and I was like, "You definitely should." And she started reading it, and she's like, "I've seen this movie,"
Mm-hmm.
and I was like, "Okay." And she's like, and I asked her, I was like, "Did you finish the book?" She's like, "No, I've seen the movie. I know what happens." And I was like, I think the book's scarier. So then I went home that weekend and I watched the movie. And there's a few moments where it's like, oh yeah, that's a little creepy. I was like, the book is so much creepier.
Mm-hmm.
Like they change things in the movies like they always do.
Yeah.
And it wasn't as intense like when he's being chased through the woods at the end by the monster. That is so intense. I was like, oh my God.
No, the book.
I was like, he's not going to survive. I was like, it's going to be one of these books where everybody dies.
In the movie, the last third was just not scary at all. I think the build up to where they're in the house Aside from
Yeah.
it being kind of goofy, because I don't know why they cast some of those people in there. That one dude is literally a comedy actor, and that's only seen him in comedies.
I don't understand. Like in the book, they don't have nearly as many people in the house either. There's 4.
Yeah, but like the only creepy part about the monster is you get to see little glimpses of it or whatever, and then you see its silhouette. And if they would have just kept it right there, like the most you see is that silhouette, because that was actually like menacing looking.
Yeah.
And they don't show the rest of it and like up close and stuff, it would have been a lot better.
Yeah.
It's an issue with a lot of horror movies where they straight up just show the whole monster and you're just like, well, it's not scary anymore.
When he goes up to the attic and he sees all those people who are still alive, but they're like essentially mummies.
Mm-hmm.
In the book, it's so much creepier because he hears them talking because he's in the room right underneath, right? So he hears them whispering. And anytime he tries to talk to them, they get completely silent. And he's like, okay. And then they force him to go up there and sit in that room with them. And the like mummified people are like gnashing their teeth and whispering and stuff like that. And like that's unsettling.
Mm-hmm.
And then he goes back up there after he's like murdering people and decides to crush their heads.
I mean,
like it's worse because the things are trying to bite him
yeah.
while he's doing this.
Yeah.
So I don't know. And it's just so much creepier in the book. And that's like, that book scared me. Like there's not very many books that have scared me. And I've read a crap ton of horror books this past year. And I think there's been 2 or 3 that have scared me, and that's it.
The Ritual is one of them. What were the other ones? Do you know?
The Hollow Places by T. Kingfisher. That one scared me. And maybe it's just been those 2.
I think my choice of horror, and I put that in parentheses, is like Tucker and Dale versus Evil. That's about as sad as I want to get.
Funny stuff.
That's a funny
The
one.
comedy horror?
Yeah.
With T. Kingfisher, it scared me so much because you couldn't see those monsters. They were invisible. So you couldn't see them. You couldn't see where they were at.
It's like in
Have
Bird
you
Box, it's
read-
actually maybe good.
Oh, yeah. The Bird Box was good.
No, the Bird Box was not good. That's the issue. It could have been a
I liked it.
lot better. It was fine.
I thought it was creepy.
It had the premise was very
See, I
creepy.
don't
The execution
do-
was
I-
not great, I didn't think.
See, she also was terrified of Children of the Corn.
Yeah, I know.
That
It's
was
ridiculous.
That was scary.
You know that main kid was actually an adult? Like the actor?
He
What,
didn't
in
look
Children
like
of the
it.
Corn?
Yeah, the main kid. He's actually an adult. He's like 30 or something
I
like
watched
that.
that
I mean,
in
that
middle
tracks.
school. I don't even remember.
I do. He's very creepy looking.
You see,
And
I
he's
still
like
have
an
issues
excellent
with
speaker.
cornfields.
And yeah, no, apparently he's like 30. He just looks like a kid.
The only horror I've really done, I read Mexican Gothic. That one I wouldn't say was horror. It's creepy, but it's also, I don't know. It was like gross. I can't really get, like, there's like
Gory, gross.
kind of, but then there's also like this gross happening thing. There's also like some familial incest to keep the magic going and like keeping
yum.
things alive, like it's just and then there's like this fungus that is like in the house, and basically that's how they continue their family lines. I don't know, it's a whole weird, it was just,
That makes sense.
yeah, it was just it really didn't make sense, but it was gross. It was kind of a good story, but
Yeah.
I don't know, I wasn't scared of it.
Yeah.
I was just more the whole time like, oh my God, ew. Like,
Yeah.
oh.
Okay, so if you want to read horror books, read T. Kingfisher, The Hollow Places, and then The Ritual by Adam Neville.
Or communion.
Oh, it's going to come. I'm getting it, man. It's going to happen. And that one's the fact that one's based on a true story, I think is going to freak me out more. When I watch horror movies and at the beginning they're like, these events are based on a true story. I'm like,
No,
oh,
immediately
man.
no. That's why I don't do possession things. It's not so much
see,
that like
possessions freak me out more than anything.
I can't do them. I can't. I just, for me, it's not 100% that I believe everything is a possession or anything like that. They are so creepy.
Oh my God.
And also, the people being possessed are treated like crap. It's just not,
Yeah, they
not
are.
all around good at all. And
Bad time.
no way.
Yeah. I watched. Okay, so when Paranormal Activity came out,
Mhm.
you remember that? Did you
Yes.
watch that?
I watched like 10 minutes of it. You know me, I don't do scary stuff.
Okay, well, I've watched all 3 of them, and progressively it got worse. Like they
That's like
scared me.
Oh, they got more scary?
They scared me, and it was because, one, it was filmed in a way that it made it look like it was like a home movie.
Yeah,
Like it could have legitimately happened.
Yeah, it looked like it was all from security footage, effectively.
But around the same time those movies came out, I was dealing with my own issues in my house.
Yeah.
And like, I mean, when something hits your bed and lifts it up while you're in it, and then you go and watch these types of movies, you're like, oh no. And like being a mom is different watching those, because the whole thing is the demon or ghost or whatever it is wants to take that child.
Yeah.
You know, so then you have like this like fear, like, oh my God, what if something came and took my child? It's like when I watched The Fourth Kind and the aliens abducted her kids. I have this horrible fear.
That was scary.
That something would come and take my kids. Like, that's always, like, when I got with Michael, I was like, I'm not scared of someone breaking into our house. That does not worry me. I was like, what worries me is something supernatural coming and taking the kids. Because what am I going to do?
Yep.
How am I going to fight that?
Yeah.
If you can't see it, how are you going to fight it?
Yep.
Yeah, The Fourth Kind was actually legitimately creepy, especially the quote-unquote real scenes that they put at the end.
Oh, man, the end part when she's like, her jaw like unhinges.
Ew.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. I watched that
part was
and
the
then I
creepiest
went I went and slept in a cabin in the woods with no electricity afterwards.
That was for your birthday, wasn't it?
It was for my 18th birthday, yeah.
I thought the police footage camera
yeah, that one was weird too, where it was like it filmed and then that thing you saw slow starting to come in and then the camera just cut out.
Yes.
Yep. And you could still hear him, but you couldn't see anything. That was weird too. But yeah, I went and I was dating a guy named Wesley then. And I remember us sitting on the porch of this cabin and on a couch out there. And he was like, what are you going to do if aliens come? I was like, I'm throwing your ass out there and I'm running. And he was like, are you serious right now? I was like, I am dead serious. I was like, you will be abducted, not me. You could tell there was so much affection there.
Yeah, no, the other horror book that I've read was The Year of the Witching. You've read it too.
I've read that.
And that one was, again, it was not scary.
I don't think I
don't even,
that one
you
too.
gave it 4 stars, but you said you would have made it 3.5. What did I gave it a 5, but not because I liked the story. I actually did.
I wasn't a fan.
This was terrible. I gave it 5 stars.
No, I didn't hate. It's just not horror. I don't think. Like, if I can read a book that's classified as horror, I don't think it's horror.
Scary.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, yeah.
So Mallory read this one and she didn't think it was really scary.
Yeah,
so.
It was another one of those that was kind of gross. Like, I don't know.
I mean, some people think the grossness or whatever is the horror aspect. Other people don't.
I guess.
I don't know. I just like the vibes. I don't think anything has really scared me too much, but I love the vibes. Like, one of the ones I like the most though is like H.P. Lovecraft Cthulhu vibes. I just love it.
Have you haven't read The Ritual or The Hollow Places, have you?
No, I have not. I was going to eventually, especially since it's October coming up. I mean, I know that this is coming out in October, but you know,
read The Hollow Places first.
The Hollow Places. I still need to finish Nettle and Bone.
I have read.
You didn't?
What, you didn't finish Nettle and Bone?
No, I didn't. I was doing other stuff, and then after your book club, I just didn't finish it.
It's so good. Finish it.
It's a really good book.
Anyways, The Hollow Places. I read that one. It was either beginning of this year or it was last year, maybe. And I have yet to have somebody read it, and I can talk to them about it. So you need to read it. And you got to tell me about the guy. Okay, so they go to a different dimension. I need you to tell me what you think about the guy that's stuck in the other dimension. And the school bus of kids.
In The Hollow Places?
In The Hollow Places.
Yeah. I did like I read it last October. I liked it because it was spooky vibes. It wasn't terrifying at all.
Not
like
spooky
vibes. But it's Halloween,
witchy. Witch. It's a witch.
But also there's like a cult essentially, and then she discovers her magic. It's a whole thing. It's not just like she's a witch. There's a whole thing that goes with it, and I liked it. It was dark, and it wasn't scary. It just was like,
Okay, so this was my review of it. Honestly, I'd give this a 3.5. It wasn't bad, but it wasn't something I loved either. It was a mix of The Handmaid's Tale and Salem Witch Trials. It's characterized as horror or thriller, but it is honestly not either of those things. Definitely just a meh book.
yeah, but let's also look at who you are.
I know.
Yeah, no, I remember
it having Handmaid's Tale vibes.
It did.
And I can't read those books because they make me physically sick.
It did.
I get so angry.
Well, yeah.
Like, I can't murder these people.
Yeah.
It makes me so
Yeah, but she
angry.
did, so it's fine.
Yeah. Like I tried to watch that show.
I won't do that.
I watched maybe half of the first season, and I was like, I would murder everybody.
No.
I could not handle that.
Yeah, no, I got so angry at that show,
Yeah,
especially
there's
the
enough
first season.
in
The
real
ending,
life of
it's
this.
like, yeah.
But yeah, I'm gonna try to read some like,
I suggest if people want to read horror books, follow my Goodreads.
yeah, you'll find some weird stuff in there.
If I'm like, yeah, this one actually scared me, then you know it's scary. Like I did a TikTok about all the horror books I had read in the year. And then this was a few months ago. And I had read 29 horror books, I think.
Yeah.
And 2 had scared me.
Yeah,
So.
that's fair.
Okay, on our next episode, we are going to be throwing you a new book chat because we're going to discuss some spooky books. We will then do Ariel's nonfic pick, Communion by Whitley Strieber. And yeah, that one is about aliens. So that one will be fun to see.
me.
Yeah. I think we have a guest speaker on in the horizon. We haven't booked them yet. So like we'll just maybe dangle that one there for you. So in the next episode, we should have it locked down. All right. We hope you enjoyed today's episode. It is time for us to sign off. But before we do, don't let the creepy things get you. And remember, only the best libraries have librarians who don't shush you.
Watch out for the elk woman.
Ooh. she messes with him more than she did Lewis. And I wonder if it's because he was like sorry and guilty and all that. But also, I just don't know. It's kind of a weird thing. But that just means that we can go to bed and deep dive next time. We're not gonna win them all. It's your deep dive next, right? Yeah. I don't know what we're gonna do for my deep dive.
Oh God, give me like plenty of time.
Yeah, I'm gonna try and pick it hopefully this week. I know my nonfiction already though. We're gonna do The Wicked Boy.
Okay.
About the little boys that murder their parents.